Jamaica is a country where a majority of the populace prides itself as being of black African descent, while some of the minorities of Jamaica make up no more than 1% of the populace. In this overwhelmingly black majority, the subject of racial colors does exist, and many different Jamaicans have many different perspectives on the subject of color lines and ethnic barriers that are still in the country even after many generations.
Yes, it has evolved to this now, and it is created by the politicians, right? That they were able to alienate the minorities from the mainstream Jamaicans. And this is why I'm coming back to why did we leave?
Many members of the Chinese community have left Jamaica due to racial unrest in the nation during the early to mid-20th century. Incidents of violence against Chinese communities have taken place throughout history in places such as Africa, the United States, and Jamaica.
And Jamaican Chinese are very sensitive to this. We have had three riots against the Chinese in Jamaica. And this happened 3 times in the modern Jamaican era.
1965, when I had a riot, my brother and I, who were in business then, figured that it was just a matter of time before we would leave. Because the way the attitude of people were, you're Chinese people and you really don't have any interest in the country.
Anti-Chinese riots in Jamaica have broken out in 1918, 1938, and most recently, 1965, where mobs within the Jamaican community formed in an attempt to destroy Chinese businesses and people.
It was very tense, and they were just rioting against anybody who was Chinese. So they were burning Chinese stores, they were trying to beat up the Chinese population wherever they saw them. It came out of a lot of miscommunication, and I guess that the situation was just right for that. And the Chinese became literally the beating stick of the Kingston population. And it was contained in Kingston, the last one that I know of.
One morning I was coming to work and there was this 9-year-old boy or so. My children were in the car and he started all sorts of abusive language, what they're going to do and what he's going to do in the future. And I thought to myself, he's now 9, and 5, 6 years from now when he's 16 and 17, so what sort of future are we facing in Jamaica? What sort of future are my children facing in Jamaica? Yeah. So it was then and there that I made a decision that it would be better for me to leave for my family.
Many of the Jamaican Chinese fled Jamaica during this period of unrest for more calmer and more stable lives in places such as Miami, Florida, where a sizable number of Jamaican Chinese now reside.
And this is why I'm coming back to why did we leave? Why didn't we stay to make a change in Jamaica? Why didn't the Chinese Jamaican, the majority of them, stay and say, well, I'm going to make a stance and I'm going to make a change in Jamaica? No, we didn't. We left. Was that good or bad? I'm in mixed feelings on whether that was good or bad. Sometimes I think we should have stayed. We should have stayed and fought for our rights. We're Jamaicans, we're born in Jamaica, but did we? No, most of us left because that was the easy way out.
Many ask, what could cause such violence against a specific ethnic group of people? Why so much distrust, so much hate, so much malice?
And like everything else, it was triggered by something. And the Chinese, to a certain extent, are to blame for this. I wouldn't even say to a certain extent. The Chinese were to blame for it, in my opinion, in that the Chinese isolated themselves. They made money off the community. They had shops, they made money, but they never really mixed with it. The Chinese had a club. They kept to themselves. We had dances, only Chinese were there. We never mixed in with the general society. The wrong thing to do if you are going to live in the country. You need to become part of the society.
Though many Jamaican Chinese have left the country, some have remained and are raising a younger generation of Jamaican Chinese.
The truth is that one of our biggest things here within the Chinese community is family, and we pride ourselves on family. And I think that is what has carried us through and will carry us through the next how many generations, because we believe in family, and family is strength.
Prior to the screening of this documentary, a short 2-minute trailer was made public, simply stating that a portion of the minority has faced hardships and trials, telling a unique story unknown to most of the world.
They were poor, but they couldn't afford to wear shoes and things like that. They were barefooted and things. But it was all white children in the school.
As a result, this has evoked many a hostile reaction from many members of the Black Caribbean community. Threads on Caribbean-based internet forums began to spring up with messages filled with disgust and anger towards such statements.